everyone, welcome to the fifth video of the unit Real Numbers. In this video we have already learned what are natural numbers, whole numbers, integers, rational numbers and irrational numbers. Right. So now we are going to learn what exactly are real numbers. Okay. So first in this video we are going to learn exercise 2.3. In the previous video I have given exercise 2.3 as homework. That thing we are going to see in this video. Answer for those assignment questions in this video. And we are going to see what are real numbers and how to represent real numbers on a line. Okay, that number line is called real number line. So in this video we are going to see these three things. Okay, first we'll solve exercise 2.3. Right, before going to solve this exercise, we'll recall what are irrational number. So any number which cannot be represented of the form p by q, where p and q are integers, q not equal to 0. If you cannot represent any number in this form, then those numbers are irrational numbers. Okay, when we are expressing this irrational number in decimal form, it is non-recurring as well as non-terminating decimal expansion. Okay, when you are trying to represent the irrational numbers on a number line, it will be non-terminating as well as non-recurring decimal expansion, because when we try to expand this in decimal expansion, the numbers after the decimal point won't stop as well as it won't repeat in the same order. Okay. So with this information, we'll now move to represent the following irrational numbers on a number line. We have seen an example of same kind in the previous video. First, we have to represent root 3 on a number line. What we have to do to represent root 3 on a number line? First, we have to draw a line and mark a point on it. Okay, we'll draw a line and mark a point on a line and name it as A. Okay, then from A we have to mark 3 centimeter. Since we are going to represent root 3, from A we have to measure 3 centimeter. Okay, and mark that as B. So we have got a line segment AB which is equal to 3 centimeter. On the same line we have to do this. Okay, after this what we have to do? We have to measure 1 centimeter from B and mark that point C on the same line. Okay, in this line itself, from B we have to measure 1 centimeter and we have to mark that point C like this. So we have got AB 3 centimeter and BC 1 centimeter. Okay, totally we got AC as 4 centimeter. Okay, now we have to find midpoint of AC. Okay, to find midpoint of AC, what we have to do? We have to draw a perpendicular bisector. Okay, perpendicular bisector divides the line segment AC into 2 equal parts and that line will be 90 degree, that is perpendicular to the line AC. Okay, in the previous video itself I have told you how to draw a perpendicular bisector. Okay, so when you draw a perpendicular bisector, you will get a line like this which intersect the line segment AC at the midpoint. Okay, mark that as O. Now with O as center and radius OA or OC, draw a semicircle. Okay, if you draw a semicircle, you will get a semicircle like this. Sorry, here it is not looking like, not exactly semicircle, but I have tried to draw a semicircle. Okay, you have to draw correctly. So we have drawn a semicircle. Okay, now after this, with B as center, draw a perpendicular line. Okay, with B as center, draw a perpendicular line like this. So this line intersects the semicircle at a point. Mark this point as D. Okay, this line BD gives root 3. I will explain you how that is root 3. Okay, we have taken this midpoint as O. Now join O and D. Okay, when we join O and D, we'll get a right angle triangle, right? O, D, B. Okay, what is the length of OB? What is OB? Here total AC is 4 units. Okay, and AO is equal to OC. That is half of 4. 2, okay, 2 units, 2 centimeter. OC is equal to 2 centimeter as well as OD. Since OD is the radius, OC will be equal to OD. OD is equal to 2 centimeter. We need value of OB. BC is 1 centimeter and OC is 2 centimeter. So OB will be 1 centimeter, right? OB is equal to 1 centimeter. So by Pythagoras theorem we know that square of the hypotenuse is equal to sum of square of other two sides. OB is 1 centimeter and OD is equal to 2 centimeter. Okay, 2 square is equal to 1 square plus BD square. Okay, BD square. 2 square is 4. 4 is equal to 1 plus BD square. We need to find the length of BD, right? Take this 1 to the other side. So you will get BD square is equal to 3. So what is BD? BD is equal to taking square root on both sides. While taking square root, square and square root will get cancelled. Here you will get BD as root 3. Okay, so we have got BD as root 3. Okay, now on your compass measure BD. Okay, and in the line AC, so we have a line here, right? So with BD as radius, with B as center, mark a arc on this line. Okay, when you draw an arc, you will get E. So this BE is the required irrational number. Okay, that BE length gives us value of root 3. Okay, understood? What we have to do? First we have to draw a line and mark a point A. Okay, if we want to find value of root 3, we have to take 3 centimeter and mark a point B. Okay, after marking point B, we have to take 1 centimeter and we have to draw BC 1 centimeter. Okay, then we have to draw a perpendicular bisector for AC. That will divide the line AC into 2 equal parts, and we have to mark the point of intersection as O. Okay, after marking that O, that is the midpoint of AC, with OA as radius or OC as radius, we have to draw a semicircle. Okay, then with B as center, we have to draw a perpendicular line which intersects the semicircle. Okay, that length BD, where the perpendicular line intersect the semicircle, we have to take it as D. The length of the line segment BD will be root 3. Okay, that is how we have seen how it will be root 3. Okay, and now we have to move to the second one, root 4.7. Okay, to represent root 4.7 as we have to draw a line, okay, and mark a point A on it. Okay, now we have to represent root 4.7, right? So how much centimeter we have to measure? We have to measure 4.7 centimeter from A and mark it as B. So this is 4.7 centimeter from A and I have marked it as B. Okay, then with B as center, means from B we have to mark 1 centimeter. Okay, so draw BC as 1 centimeter. Okay, now we have to draw a perpendicular bisector to AC, which divides AC into 2 equal parts, and where that perpendicular bisector intersect the line AC will be the midpoint of the line AC. Okay, and we'll call it as O. And with O as center and OA as radius or OC as radius, we have to draw a semicircle. Okay, after drawing a semicircle with B as center, we have to draw a perpendicular bisector. That perpendicular line. Okay, that perpendicular line will divide the semicircle, will intersect the semicircle at D. Now we have got BD, which is root 4.7. So with BD as length in your compass, with B as center, mark a arc on the line. That point will be E. So BD is root 4.7. Okay, this is how we have to do. This is how we have to represent any irrational numbers on a number line. So now to represent root 6.5 on a number line, what we have to do? We have to draw a line and we have to mark a point A on that line. Okay, with A as center, means from A we have to measure 6.5 centimeter and we have to mark that point as B. Then other steps you have to repeat the same. Okay, From B, again you have to mark 1 centimeter and you have to mark that point as C. Now you have got AC. Okay. Now we have to draw a perpendicular bisector. Okay. That perpendicular bisector will bisect the line AC, which means we'll get midpoint of AC. Okay. Mark that point as O. After marking midpoint of AC as O with OA as radius or with OC as radius, draw a semicircle. Okay, after drawing a semicircle with B as center, draw a perpendicular line. Okay, this perpendicular line will intersect the semicircle. Okay, mark that point as D. That length of that line segment BD will give the required length, means root 6.5. Okay, measure that on your compass and with B as center, draw an arc on the line. So you will get E, point E. So BD as well as BE will be equal to root 6.5. Okay, you have to practice this thing more. You have to know how to represent the given irrational number on a number line. So at the end of this video, I have given some more problems, means some more exercise for representing the given irrational numbers on a number line. First, if a number is given, you have to see whether it is an irrational number or not. Okay, suppose if I have given root 16. Okay, so root 16. 16 is a perfect square. Right. So root 16 is equal to root 4 square. The square and square root will get cancelled. So root 16 is equal to 4. You can represent 4 easily on the number line, right? You no need to do these steps. You can represent numbers on the number line and you can represent this is 4. That will be root 16. Right. So first you have to see whether the given thing is a rational number or irrational number. Okay. So if a irrational number is given, you have to represent like this on the number line. Suppose if they have given 4.7 bar. So how to represent these things on a number line? That we'll see in this video. That how to represent that things, those numbers in a on a number line in this video. Okay. So before going to see that, one more thing. When you see in your textbook, we will be getting some QR codes like this, right? When you scan this QR code, you will be getting a video which is made by Tamil Nadu government. Okay. So finding 3 irrational numbers between 0.12 and 0.13, they have given a video. They have given a QR code like this and I have scanned it and I will attach that video with this one. Okay. So see that one to understand this better. As it is by Tamil Nadu government, I am giving it to you. I am showing it to you. Okay.
Dear students, we are going to learn about irrational numbers between two rational numbers. First of all, we are going to learn about rational numbers. The ratio of two integers is called the rational numbers. Rational numbers are in the form of P by Q, where Q is not equal to 0. Here, P and Q are integers. In P and Q form, P is called a numerator and the Q is called the denominator. Now listen, we have marked rational numbers in the number line. Between two rational numbers, we can write many rational numbers. How is it possible? Let's find. Between 1 by 2 and 1, we can write many rational numbers. We have taken 1 by 2 as 10 by 20 and 1 as 20 by 20. And again 1 by 2 as 100 by 200 and 1 as 200 by 200. Now listen, 101 by 200, 102 by 200, 103 by 200 and goes on. Like many rational numbers, we can make like that between two rational numbers. A rational number can be represented as terminating decimal expression or non-terminating and repeating decimal expression. 625 is divided by 10,000. We get 0.0625. This is a terminating decimal expression. Next, 5 is a whole number. It can be written as 5 divided by 1 in the form of P by Q. Hence, it shows that all whole numbers are rational number. Next, 11 is divided by 9. The answer is 1.22222. Here 2 is repeated many times. This decimal expression is non-terminating and repeating. Hence it is rational number, like that when we divide 5 by 3, we get 1.6666, where 6 is repeating. This is also same as above condition. Next, we will learn about irrational number. The real numbers which cannot be written in the form of ratio or fraction are called irrational numbers. Take square root of 2, we get the decimal expression as 1.41421335. It is not ending and it is not repeating. Hence they are called irrational numbers. Other square root of natural numbers are irrational numbers. Now listen, we have seen square root of 5, 8 and 12 also. They are non-terminating and non-repeating. Hence they are called irrational numbers. Next, we are going to find the irrational number between two rational numbers. 11 divided by 9, it is rational number. When we divide 5 by 3, we get 1.6666. It is non-terminating and repeating. Hence, it is rational number. To find the irrational number between 11 by 9 and 5 by 3, we need to find the non-terminating and non-repeating decimal expression between them. Now, 11 by 9 has 1.222. It is repeating, hence it have return number after 2. Like that we can write number of irrational numbers between two rational numbers.
I hope you have understood this video. Right. Using this, try to find out the rational numbers between given two irrational number, or find irrational numbers between given two irrational numbers. Okay. So with these things, we'll move to real numbers. What are real numbers? Okay. Rational numbers and irrational numbers together, we'll call it as real numbers. Real numbers consist of all rational numbers and all the irrational numbers. Okay, we have already learnt that rational numbers and irrational numbers are disjoint set. So you know what is disjoint. There is no common element between these two sets. If you take rational numbers as one set and irrational number as other set, because irrational numbers cannot be written in the form p by q, and rational numbers are the numbers which can be written in the form p by q. So these two things are disjoint sets, right? Union of these two sets will give us real number. Okay, so real numbers consist of all irrational numbers as well as rational numbers. So you can write, we'll represent real numbers by r, that can be equal to union of rational numbers as well as irrational numbers. Okay, so here q power c is called q complement. Q is rational number, so q complement is irrational number. Okay, suppose we have learnt already what are natural numbers, whole numbers, that thing, right? What are natural numbers? Counting numbers are called natural numbers. 1, 2, 3. All these things are natural numbers. When you add 0 with natural number, so we'll represent n for natural numbers, right? When you add 0, but when you union 0, singleton 0 with this, you will get whole numbers, right? W. This is superset of natural numbers, right? This is having one extra element than natural numbers. So when you take set of natural numbers, whole numbers will be superset of natural numbers, okay, or natural numbers will be the subset of whole numbers, okay. Then we learned what are integers. Integers will be represented using z. Positive number, negative number and 0 are included in integers. So whole numbers, natural numbers are all subsets of integers, okay. Then we come across rational numbers. Rational numbers will also have this integers, whole numbers, natural numbers, okay. So rational numbers is a superset of integers, whole numbers and natural numbers, okay. And this integers, whole numbers, natural numbers are subset of rational numbers, okay. Then we have irrational number. It is a disjoint set of rational numbers, okay. So this is irrational number and this is set of rational number. When you have a set which is including all these two rational numbers and irrational number, we call that as real numbers, okay. So I will write it again. This is natural number, whole number, integers, rational. So then we have irrational numbers set, okay. These things together we'll call real numbers, okay. So real numbers are rational numbers as well as irrational number. And we have seen rational numbers when we are expanding it in decimal expansion, when we are expressing it in decimal expansion, it may be terminating, which means after the decimal point the number will get stopped after some time, right? It is terminating, it will end, decimal points will end, or it will be non-terminating and recurring. After the decimal points the number decimals won't end, but it will repeat. For example 4.7 bar, which means this 7 will repeat again and again, okay. Suppose we have 4.754 bar, this 5454 will repeat again and again. So any rational number when you represent in a decimal expansion, it will be terminating or non-terminating and recurring. But when you see irrational numbers, those numbers will be non-terminating and non-recurring, right? So real number will be consisting of rational numbers and irrational numbers. Rational numbers can be expressed in terminating or non-terminating and recurring decimal expansion, and irrational numbers we can express it as non-terminating and non-recurring decimal expansion, okay. Real numbers can be thought of as points on an infinitely long number line called real line. So real numbers are on a infinitely long line called real line, okay, where the integers are equally spaced. Integers are positive number, negative number as well as 0, right? It is a long line. Real line is a long line where the integers are equally spaced. This is -1, -2. So distance between -1 and -2 will be equal to distance between -1 and 0. That is equal to distance between 0 and 1. So real line is a long line where infinitely long line where the points corresponding to integers are equally spaced, okay. So any real number can be determined by a possibly infinite decimal representation. As we have seen already, real number can be terminating, non-terminating recurring or non-terminating non-recurring, right? So it can be determined by infinite decimal representation, okay. So now we will see how to represent numbers on a real number line. We can use visualization through successive magnification. This is one of the method to represent real numbers on a real number line. What is successive magnification? Suppose if we have to represent 3 on a number line, okay. 3 is a real number, right? So we will be having a real number line where integers are equally spaced, okay. Suppose we have to represent 3 on a number line, we'll draw a number line and we have marked the integers equally spaced and we'll find out where this 3 lies. So 3 lies here, okay. When you mark this point, that will give us the representation of 3 on a real number line. Suppose we want to represent 2.5 on a number line. So we will be having a real number line like this. We have to see where this 2.5 lies. So 2.5 is greater than 2 as well as less than 3, right? So this 2.5 will lie between 2 and 3. So we have to magnify this. We have to magnify this space. Okay, here this distance is equally spaced, right? So this we have to magnify. We have to divide this space into 10 equal parts again. So you will get 2.0, 2.1, 2.2 like this. So we'll get 10 equidistanced points again. So where this 2.5 lie, we'll get 2.0, 2.1, 2.2, 2.3, 2.4, 2.5. Somewhere in the middle. Okay, we have to magnify this length to see where the given point lies. That is called successive magnification. Okay, we can visualize the representation of numbers on the number line as if we glimpse through a magnifying glass. Okay, using, suppose if we have a magnifying glass, we'll see or we'll zoom that thing, right? So using that, we are going to represent the numbers on a number line. Okay, so we'll see example. Represent 4.863 on the number line. How to represent this thing on a number line? First, 4.8, where it lies we have to see. 4.863 is greater than 4 and less than 5. So it lies between 4 and 5. So we have to divide the distance between 4 and 5 into 10 equal intervals. So you will get 4.1, 4.2, 4.3 like that. Okay. So we will get 4.8, which is 5. From 5 it will be second one. So 4.8, 4.9, 5. Right. So from 5, left of 5 it will be second. Okay. And from 4 it is 8th. Okay. Then we have to see where 4.86 lies. So we have seen where 4.8 lies, right? And this 4.86 will be greater than 4.8, less than 5. So we have to again divide 4.8 and 4.9, distance between 4.8 and 4.9 into 10 equal intervals. Okay. Then we have to see where this 4.86 lies. After pointing out after marking 4.86, then we have to see where 4.863 lies. That will be between 4.86 and 4.87, right? So then we have to divide the distance 4.86 and 4.87 into 10 equal intervals, and from there we can mark 4.863. Okay, this is the steps to see where this 4.863 lies. Now we'll see how to represent this. See, first we have taken a number line. So our is 4.863, right? So first we have to find out where this 4.863 lies. That will be between 4 and 5. Okay. Now we have to divide this distance into 10 equal parts. So that is what they are doing. While dividing it, we'll get 4.0, 4.1, 4.2, 4.3, 4.4, 4.5, 4.6, 4.7, 4.8, 4.9, 5. Okay, this is how we have to divide this distance between 4 and 5 into 10 equal parts. Now we have to see where this 4.8 lies. 4.8 will be here, right? That is 2 second from the left of 5 and 8th from the right of 4. Okay, this is 4.8. Now we have to see where this 4.86 lies. 4.86 is lesser than 4.9 and greater than 4.8. Okay, so 4.86 will lie between 4.8 and 4.9. We have to magnify this. Divide this distance into 10 equal parts. So you will get 4.80, 4.81, 4.82, 4.83, 4.84, 4.85, 4.86, 4.87, 4.88, 4.89, 4.90. Okay, now we have to see where this 4.86 lies. So we will get 4.86 here, right? Then we have to see where 4.863 lies. 4.863 is greater than 4.86 and lesser than 4.87. Okay, so now we have to divide this distance into 10 equal parts. Okay, so you will get 4.863 here. So this is how we have to represent the given number on a real number line, and this is called as magnification process, representing a given number using magnification process. Okay, now we'll see how to represent 3.45 on the number line up to 4 decimal places. So 3.45 bar will be equal to 3.45454545. Right. Here they have given represent this on a number line up to 4 decimal places. So we have to restrict this into 4 decimal places. That will be 3.4545. Okay. So now how to represent this on a number line. So adjacent to this problem, example 2.15, they have given a QR code. So okay, when you scan this thing, we'll get a video how to represent this on a number line. Okay, we'll see that video.
Represent 3.45 bar on the number line up to 4 decimal places. Since it is a non-terminating and recurring decimal, we can write it as 3.454545 and goes on. We get 3.4545 if we corrected up to 4 decimal places. Now we shall see how to represent these on the number line. First we shall see where 3.4 lies. (3.4) is greater than 3 and less than 4. So we divide the portion between 3 and 4 into 10 equal parts. Now complete the number line. Now you can see where 3.4 lies. Next we shall see where 3.45 lies. 3.45 is greater than 3.4 and less than 3.5. So we divide the portion between them into 10 equal parts. Now complete the number line. Now you can see where 3.45 lies. Next we shall see where 3.454 lies. It is greater than 3.45 and less than 3.46. So we divide the portion between them into 10 equal parts. Now complete the number line. Now you can see where 3.454 lies. Finally, we shall see where 3.4545 lies. It is greater than 3.454 and less than 3.455. So we divide the portion between them into 10 equal parts. Now complete the number line. Now you can see where 3.4545 lies.
I hope you understood this thing. Like this only you have to represent the given numbers on a real number line. Okay. Try to answer the assignment question after going through this video. So after going through this video, go through your textbook once to see the process of magnification. Okay. Similarly, you have to do this assignment. Represent the following numbers on a number line. 5.348, 6.4 bar up to 3 decimal places. So you have to represent 6.444 on the number line. Okay. Next, 4.73 bar up to 4 decimal places. So which number you have to represent? 4.7373. Okay, you have to represent that numbers on the number line. After completing the exercise 2.4, try to do this assignment also. Represent root 7 on a number line, represent root 4 on a number line, represent 5.67 on a number line, represent root 6.8 on a number line, and define real numbers and draw the flowchart mentioned in the video. That is, the real number is divided into two, rational numbers and irrational numbers. Rational numbers, when we are expressing it in decimal form, it will be terminating or non-terminating and recurring, and in irrational number it will be non-terminating as well as non-recurring decimal expansion. Okay, you have to draw that flowchart also. Okay, thank you. We'll meet in next video.